Threatening to write a memoir, looking for his inheritance, and perhaps even taking on yet another television interview. What's the real story behind the disgraced former royal known as the Duke of York, Prince Andrew? Bottom line is this: a lot of people are asking, particularly in the media, what about the inheritance left behind by Queen Elizabeth II? After a 70-year reign, of course, one would suspect that she left behind a personal wealth of many millions. Now, it's been reported in the media that Prince Andrew is yet to receive this particular income from his elder brother, King Charles III. But the true story is this: no one really knows exactly how much wealth, other than the king and the Queen's former lawyers, was left to each individual child. Let's not forget, we also have Princess Anne, Prince Edward, the king, and of course the disgraced Prince Andrew. Now, the bottom line was, obviously, she would have made provisions for all single one of her children. They're never really going to need that individual wealth. But what the media have seized upon is the fact that now Prince Andrew doesn't necessarily have a royal role. He will need something of an income. Well, that's simply not the case. He lives on the Crown estate and currently still receives money directly from the king. This is the money given out by the government in order for subsistence and natural living. Obviously now being stripped of titles and, more importantly, a royal role, he has to carve out a way of making an individual living. A lot of people are also asking exactly what about the personal wealth of his former wife, who also lives on the Crown estate, Fergie, the Duchess of York. Well, obviously she's rather busy right now, making quite a considerable amount of money by television appearances and promoting her own historical novels. But back to Prince Andrew. Does he actually require the inheritance? What we can tell you is this: so far, no one regarding the Queen's personal wealth has been distributed any money. That simply would now not take place until well after the coronation on May the 6th. So while the press may decide exactly where is Andrew's missing millions, they're simply not missing at all. Right now, the king has far more important matters with his forthcoming coronation. And also, just to correct another story, while he may have been asked to vacate Royal Lodge, simply is not vacating anytime soon. What the king hopes to do is downsize the entire estate, while William and Catherine may leave Adelaide Cottage and move further into the epicentre of Windsor Castle, perhaps taking on the apartments once frequented by the Duke of Edinburgh and our much beloved Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Andrew and the famous memoir, has he now been inspired by another royal in the fact that Prince Harry has had international success with his tell-all book Spare? What's the true story behind that? Well, it's quite simple. Lots and lots of publishers have contacted the former royal Prince Andrew with regards to writing his tell-all memoirs. In return, we can tell you first here on Show News, the book that Prince Andrew would like to write is not his memoirs, but about his time as an active part of the naval team regarding the Falklands War. He sees this as a far more interesting and valiant story given the recent anniversary. But the bottom line is, of course, publishers simply don't want to pay for that type of book. They want more scurrilous gossip revealing things like that. Now, Prince Andrew would do nothing to upset or indeed make life difficult for himself while he's living on the Crown estate. This is simply because he lives there at the goodwill and gesture of the King, King Charles III, and the Queen, Queen Camilla. So while the media may speculate that Prince Andrew is threatening to write his tell-all memoirs, and this may give him some leverage with his elder brother, it's simply not true. Right now, if any publisher had that deal, they would be putting out a press release. As I said, Prince Andrew is very keen to keep his public profile, well, public, but on his terms. There is no plans for now, or indeed the future, for a tell-all memoir. What about Prince Andrew and the deal regarding the Indian guru? There's a story recently in the press claiming that apparently he requires £32,000 a year for this holistic yoga meditating guru. Well, the story is truly this, and as ever we like to reveal it first and exclusive here on Show News. Yes, there was a guru, but just for a short period. He certainly wasn't on £32,000 a year and is no longer in the employ of the former royal known as Prince Andrew. But the media decide, of course, particularly with Prince Andrew's untenable background right now and the difficulties that he may have in attacking the British press, that they can write simply what they want. It made a good story, but for now, the Indian guru has simply gone up in smoke and is no longer required. Prince Andrew threatening to sit down once again and do a tell-all interview with a television company now, given the fact that his one-time friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, sadly is languishing in prison over in the United States. Well, once again, this is a fallacy story. It's simply not true. The bottom line is Prince Andrew, again, would like to do some kind of charitable role moving forward, but he knows that whatever he does will be picked apart. Now, the other problem that Prince Andrew has is the interview with the BBC's Newsnight is now being turned into a drama, not just once, but twice, predominantly with a company that another royal now is in the employ of, Prince Harry, via Netflix. The infamous Newsnight interview is going into production right now and starring the one-time Doctor Who pal, Billie Piper, as the infamous producer, Sam McAllister. That's the lady who put together the interview. What's interesting here, though, this could re-emerge as rather damaging content, reminding everybody exactly how wrong the former royal got it on worldwide television. But given the fact that people are now downsizing and not simply buying into subscription and streaming services, this remains to be seen whether people will take this as absolutely exciting television. Also, let's not forget a recent musical based on the fun and frolics of Prince Andrew's interview called Prince Andrew the Musical for Channel 4 totally bombed and was a ratings flop, unable to sell in any other country. The good news for Prince Andrew is this. His wife, the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, has been warmly received over in the US while promoting her historical novels, popping up an all plethora of US chat shows. She's answered questions openly and honestly about the particular time that she's gone through with Prince Andrew. And this has done a lot to soften his public image over in the US. So while the media may want to crucify Prince Andrew, bring him down, there's a lot of goodwill still out there. But of course, Prince Andrew was his own, shall we say, master of his undoing. He wouldn't listen to anybody. He ploughed ahead with the interview with Newsnight, even having the backing of his daughter, Princess Eugenie. And that was a huge mistake, and a mistake now that he's got to pull back from. But rest assured, we can tell you first and exclusive here on Show News that Prince Andrew is going nowhere fast. He's simply not looking for any money into the future. And on this coronation year, will do nothing to make it difficult for his elder brother, King Charles III. It's as simple as that. Sean, SBS Show News, Kensington, London.